You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Greetings, everyone. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily, episode 1500. This one is an excerpt from the Horses in the Morning weekly health report featuring Farrier's Sydney Wilkinson with some great tips on preparing your horse's hooves for winter. And it's brought to you today by My New Horse.
For first-time horse owners and new riders, finding the information and support you need can be challenging. That's why Equine Network has partnered with Sentinel and Absorbine to bring you My New Horse. From important horsekeeping information and how-to videos to social media communities, exclusive experiences, and more, My New Horse is your one-stop shop for riders of all levels and disciplines looking for easy-to-understand horse care information and guidance. Start your horse ownership journey today. Visit mynewhorse.com.
Well, I'm so excited to talk to husband and wife team Scott and Sydney Wilkinson. They're certified journeyman farriers. And we said earlier we were going to talk to Scott, but come on, let's do girl talk. I want to talk to Sydney. Hi, Sydney.
Hi, how are you guys?
Now, to talk about shoeing here, obviously it's starting to get chilly in some parts of the country, most parts of the country. How can people prepare, like as a farrier, when you go somewhere, how can people prepare their horse best for you to do your best?
So definitely starting with the foundation, always is going to be nutrition, environment, all of those important things, husbandry, being proactive. When you do have an issue that you think could be a problem or could become a problem before it happens. Most of the conversations we have with our clients is actually based on nutrition. We have a lot of winter grasses in our area. So of course, as the seasons change, we see a lot of, hormone fluctuation, but then we also see, horses that are now, where the grasses are changing, and we have those winter grasses that are really sugary and starchy. And we see a lot of laminitic cases. So we talk to our clients a lot about diet. We just try to steer them more towards a better nutrition, don't overfeed, what does healthy look like? And I think that's the biggest thing as far as transitioning or just general hoof care is going to be your diet and your foundation of your horse, because
Glenn, you can love your horse too much, it sounds like,
Not me. I don't overfeed my pony. Not at all.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. And, and then it's funny because then, we do a lot of taping. We do a lot of weigh tape in our shop. And, really are particular with our laminitic cases because most of them obviously are going to be diet related. And, but we tell people starting off, we say we can put gold shoes, we can put glue on shoes, we can, do barefoot, we can do whatever, is best for this horse. But if you don't start that process at home in the foundation, then you're going to be wasting a lot of time and energy and finances to not get very good results.
La 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 la. I can't hear you, Sydney.
If you didn't know, Glenn has a fat pony. He loves too much.
Yes. We have several rehabs that people, we've had like owner where they just kind of say like, I don't know what I'm doing. And they stop, just really honestly, people that stop in the shop, they're like, I have this thundered pony and I don't know what to do with it. Do you know anybody that wants it? I'm like, me. And Scott's like, oh, here we go again. So we have a lot of rehabs. Yes. But they are fun. And it is neat to see them make a turnaround over, things simple as, diet and, where they're at and taking care of their feet consistently and the changes that can be made.
What are some of the warning signs like that? I think this is going to become a problem. What are you looking for before it becomes a problem?
So generally what we see that kind of give us the red flag is obviously, those telltale signs. Are we seeing laminitic ridges, on the hoof wall? Are we seeing loss of concavity in the foot? Are we seeing, intermittent tenderness on different terrains? Do we have any bruising or stretching in the white line? Bruising in the sole? Are we getting the adequate amount of sole depth growth between cycles. What is his body condition? What is this horse's body condition score? Where are they at? Are they, if we tape them, we had a gentleman come in, he was an older gentleman, and he was very adamant about, he liked his horse thick, stocky, so it's a quarter horse, older quarter horse. And he liked a thick, stocky quarter horse. And I'm like, yes, but we are seeing some things, we have some white line disease. We have some, loss of concavity. We see, these are some red flags that we see. And he's like, well, I like a heavier, stocky horse. And I'm like, trying to tell him, I'm like, this horse could lose some weight. And he's like, well, I like him around 1,200 pounds. That's just where I like to keep him. And I said, let's get the tape out. Let's see how much he weighs. 1,350. And so, and we're
that happens to me when I get on the scale too.
Yes, I know. How does that happen? Every time. Yeah. And do as I say, not as I do, right? So by the time we ended that conversation, he was more aware, and we pointed out those things as far as, crusty neck. We've got some fatty deposits that are kind of abnormal. So he was aware, and he's like, well, maybe he could lose a little bit of weight. And so he went home and changed it up, actually just put a grazing muzzle on. And the next time we saw the horse, he was just tremendously better. Like, it's overall health of body condition. And, we were making progress on the white line disease. He actually had grown some sole depth, those things that, a chronic laminitic horse is not going to do. So,
well, I mean, even the athleticism of a horse that has the appropriate weight versus one that is too heavy, he should have noticed a huge difference just in the abilities of the horse to do their job. Because I'm sorry, I carry, a few extra pounds and I'm sluggish. I'm not as good as I was. And I had a fat horse here who would fall down at the canter, and now he's lost weight with a grazing muzzle, and he's like this athlete now. So it is definitely true. Like, it will help all facets of their life.
Absolutely. Well, it just things that we hear from people, clients that say, now they're actually running up to me, in the pasture. I'm seeing them get, more energy and not as lethargic as they were, because I do think they get stagnant. I think they just kind of lose that motivation, and they don't feel as good. And, it's Scott, he's the same way. He's like, he feels changes like in his knees and his joints and his legs and all of that. He's like, if I feel like my weight is fluctuating, it's just going to put more stress on those areas when he's working or when he's just, day to day. So I think that's super important for people to remember. They do feel better if they're in a healthier weight.
Can I go back a little bit to the glue-on shoes? My wife's thoroughbred has had terrible feet since she got them, and they went the glue-on shoe route years ago, because he couldn't handle the, nails for regular shoes. And she's had great luck with them. Are you seeing more and more people give them a try?
Yes, I am. I think one of our things that we run into as far as walls in trying to bring those to our clientele is one of the things is going to be cost.
Yeah, they're not, they're not as cheap for sure.
Yes, you will never outweigh the pricing of just a steel set of shoes. I mean, with when you add consumables into the mix of your expenses, it's very hard to do. So that is difficult to project that to your clientele, because, we're all kind of trying to save money and be conservative and you do those things,
Apparently my wife's not. That's what I get out of that, to be honest.
well, you just
it works though.
If she's happy, that's all that matters.
It works. They've even experimented with just using the glue and not the shoe, and have had pretty good luck with that.
Yes. So we do actually yesterday we did the same very similar thing. We have a lot of those polyurethanes that we can actually just use the polyurethane. And then of course now they have more, they're gearing more towards just like sole coverage versus an actual, glue on shoe. So we've done some of that. The biggest run-in we come in with our personal clientele is environment, because a lot of our horses are on turnout, and we are in a very, very high humidity area. There's moisture. Now, I will say, like the last 30 days or so, it was just super dry, which was awesome. Everything was tough. It was hard, and then we got like 3 inches of rain in one day. And the moisture content fluctuates all the time here year round. So that is our biggest challenge when you go to using adhesives or using, acrylics or, the polyurethane, any of those consumables and doing the glue on shoes or those type of things. The moisture is greatly going to affect the longevity of that. And so that is one of the things. Those are a couple of the things, like I said, financial, the cost of it, and then as far as controlling the environment, because we can't control where these horses are turned out or where they live. That's one thing that's kind of in the owner's control. And I think that's just in general, the drier environment you can keep them in, the better they'll be, the more stable the foot will be. Because I kind of tell people it's kind of like spaghetti. The hoof wall is just kind of made up of these fibers that are locked together. And think of it like a spaghetti noodle. If they're dry, they're hard, they're rigid, they're tough. And then if we have that constant moisture exposure, they're just going to get more soft, more pliable. I think that just makes them a little bit more susceptible. Not that water's a bad thing, because they do need a certain level of moisture. It's not that it's a bad thing, but there's a happy balance in all of that.
I'm looking at your Facebook page right now. For those who don't, for those who haven't seen it, this is just, these cases that you guys post and chronicle and follow along with are just incredible. It's Wilkinson Farrier Services on Facebook. And I love the line where welcome to the Ozark Mountains where the moisture is high and we grow rocks.
Yes, absolutely. When we transitioned from Oklahoma to Arkansas, actually Scott grew up here, and this is where he shod for the first part of his career, and then moved to Oklahoma, and that's where we met. And then we moved back for his dad, family reasons, and we moved back to this area a couple years ago, and it was just this huge transition in environment. We were, in Oklahoma, you say just in general, a generic set of steel shoes, we may reuse those shoes 3 or 4 times. And out here, our own personal horses, we don't get to reuse them one time. They have to have a new set of shoes every time we shoe them, because even our place is just it. We grow rocks, and big, jagged. It is like worst case scenario. We had most of our horses barefoot when we moved out here, and within just several weeks, we live on such a steep incline. And they go down to the creek, and they do move a lot. They travel a lot up and down, this hill we have, but it's just rocks. And they had worn off everything any excess on their feet. And so you mix that with the moisture, and then, like I said, it just fluctuates so much. And then we put, this abrasive environment, and then we turn around and then we use them.
It sounds to me like you need to come back to Oklahoma, because that's where I am. So where were y'all in Oklahoma? I'm near the Farrier School, actually.
Okay. So we were between Tulsa and Oklahoma City, just right off of 44 over at Bristow.
Oh, that's cool. Well, yeah, there's a whole ton of great farriers here, because they do all come out of that school, the Oklahoma Farrier School. So
yes. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Horse Radio Network has thousands of engaging podcasts for horse people, and you can have them sent right to your phone. Just subscribe via your favorite podcast player. This is Coach Jen, and I will be back again soon with another tip. Until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements made by guests on the Horse Tip Daily. Please use your own judgment when listening to the tips on this show.